I'm Jim, a Solutions and Network Specialist with Braden Business Systems, and today I'm going to walk you through how to add a Konica-Minolta printer for a Mac. Now before we get started, a quick note about the Mac I'll be using for this tutorial. The Mac I'm using is a MacBook Pro using an M2 chip running Sonoma OS version 14.3.1. So there may be some minor differences between this Mac and the one you're using, but the general steps should be the same. Now there are several ways you can add a printer to a Mac, and there are some ways that are more correct than the others. I say that because AirPrint printers use a generic connection with a generic driver. This does not allow for various color controls and other features that the printer may have. So just know, if you choose to install as an AirPrint printer, then you may not be able to utilize all the functions of the printer. So in this video, I'll show you what I consider to be the best way to install and set up a Konica-Minolta printer for your Mac. Here are a few pieces of information you will need to complete the install. It's best to have this information on hand prior to starting the process. The first thing you'll need is the machine's IP address. You can obtain the IP address from the machine by going to the machine and pressing the Home button, the Utility button, and then the Device Information button. You will see the IPv4 address listed there. You'll want to write this down. Next, you'll need the printer's model number. This is the number on the lower left of the front of the machine. It will show BizHub and some numbers. It will either be just a 3-digit number, this is a black and white machine, or it will be a C with a number, which will indicate that the machine is color capable. And finally, you will also need to know the accessories and features of the machine. You can know what features the machine has by checking the Acknowledge of Deliverance form you signed when the machine was delivered. That form will list all the accessories and items on your device. And here's an example of that. Once you have this information, we can begin setting things up to get you printing from your Mac computer. We will follow 3 steps to complete this install. Step 1, we will download and install the printer driver. Step 2, we will add the printer to the Mac. Then step 3, if necessary, we will need to go into the CUPS system to set special printing defaults, including preparing to be able to use account codes or user authentication information. For step 1, we will start by going to the web page, kmbs.konica-minolta.us. Along the top of this page, click the Support and Downloads link. Toward the bottom of the page, in the Customer Resource section, click the link Drivers and SDS. In the center of the page, on the left side, you will see a quick search bar. For this instruction sheet, we're going to use the model C300i. Type C300 and you will see the link pop up listing the C300i. Click that link. Click the blue Drivers button and you will see 4 categories for driver types. Use the first category, which says Drivers. Scroll down until you see your version of the Mac you have. If you are not sure which version you have, and if the Mac is just a few years old, select the newest version. For this case, February 2024, the latest version is Mac OS Sonoma 14.x. You can use this version, so click that version. You will select the newest driver. Do not select the README links. The file will begin to download. Click the downloaded file folder and then double-click the folder, not the zip file. On some Mac computers, this may not be necessary as the process automatically unzips. Open the OS_11_X folder. Remember, this might be different depending on the machine and driver you are using, but will be similar enough. Then, select the Letter folder and double-click. Inside, you will see the installer package. Double-click the installer package and then click the Install button. Go through the steps to complete the installation. Then click Continue, 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 agree, install. Use your credentials if necessary, and then click OK to allow the installer to have access to files in your Downloads folder. Once everything is done, click the Close button and allow the installer to be moved to the trash. You can now close any windows that might still be open. The driver is now installed on the computer. This does not install the printer. That step comes next. Now in step 2, we will install the printer on the Mac. Make sure you have the list of features that you have on your Konica-Minolta printer. Open System Settings and find Printers and Scanners. Click on the Add Printer, Scanner, or Fax. There will be a window that opens, and you might see the printer listed there as a Bonjour multifunction device. While installing this printer will generally work, this is not the best way to install. Click the globe icon at the top of the window. You will see Protocol with a drop-down menu. Click the drop-down arrow and select HP JetDirect Socket. In the address bar, enter the machine's IP address. In this example, 10.250.56.128. In the name box, you will see the IP address listed there. You can delete that address and type whatever name you want to call the machine. Something like color printer, front office printer, Konica-Minolta printer, or anything else that will help you identify that printer. In the Use box, click the up-down arrows and select Software. Then a window will open that will allow you to select the correct software for your specific model. Select that software that matches your machine. Once selected, the window will close. Click Add. If you get an Unable to Communicate error, go ahead and create the printer. Look at the list of options on your list and match those with the options in the window. This step is important. Failing to select the correct options will result in you not having the option to use the features of your machine, such as stapling or extra paper trays. You will have an opportunity to fix this later if needed. Then click OK. Now we're ready for step 3. By default, Konica-Minolta machines will print color and two-sided. To make a black and white print or a single-sided print, you will have to manually select those options each time. Also, if you need to log into the machine to access its features, you will not be able to until you can enter a code in your printer driver. In cups, we can take care of that. At the very top of your screen, you will see a magnifying glass. Click the magnifying glass, and a window will pop up with a spotlight search bar at the top. In that bar, type Terminal and press Return. A command prompt will open. You will need to type the following at the cursor. Cups CTL web interface equals yes. Let me spell that out. CUPS CTL space WEBINTERFACE equals yes, and hit return. You can also close the terminal window now. Open a web browser and enter the following: http://localhost:/631/printers/ and then press enter. You will see your printer listed there. Click the link for the printer in the Q name column to open the machine's Cups administrator page. You will see a drop-down in the administrator box. Click that and select Default Options. Here, in case you forgot to add a feature of the machine in the previous steps, you can fix that here under the Options installed. If you got everything previously, move on to the finishing options. If you are using user authentication on the machine, you will need to turn that feature on in the user authentication, and then in user authentication settings, leave that on device. If you're using account track, turn that feature on. Note, generally you do not use user authentication and account track at the same time. It is one or the other. If you have any questions which one you're using, reach out to your Braden service department to inquire. For print type, set that to one-sided. If you have a color machine and you want to set that default printing to black and white, scroll down the list until you see Select Color. You will see two lines that say Select Color, and set both of those Select Color options to grayscale. Scroll to the bottom of the page and click Set Default Options, and you will be asked to enter your administrator credentials. This is your Apple login and password. The printer is now ready to be used. If you're using user authentication, the way that you embed your user authentication login can be done using an actual application. You cannot use a web browser or preview or any other web-based application. Open Word, Maps, or any other non-web application. Select the print option for your document. Make sure your printer is selected, and in the printer interface for printer options, select Output Method. User authentication should be checked. Select Detail Settings. Select User Authentication. Then select the Settings button below the window. Enter the correct username and password for your user account on the machine. Note, the default username listed there will not be correct. Click the Save Settings checkbox and then click OK, click OK, click OK, click Print. Your documents should now be printed successfully. If you're using Account Track, the way you embed your Account Track login can be done using an actual application. You cannot use a web browser or preview, or any other web-based application. Open Word, Maps, or any other non-web application. Select the Print option for your document. Make sure your printer is selected. In the print interface for Printer Options, select Output Method. Account Track should be checked, and User Authentication is unchecked. Select Detail Settings, select Account Track, then click the Settings button below the window. Enter the correct account name, if required, and password for your Account Track account used on the machine. Note, the default username listed there will not be correct. Also, most instances of Account Track will only require a password to log in. Click the Save Settings checkbox and then click OK. Click OK, click OK, click Print. Your documents should now be printed successfully. We hope this tutorial video was helpful. However, if you are still having trouble installing your printer to your Mac, please reach out to the Braden team. Our contact information is on the screen here. Thanks for watching.